How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson.
Welcome to
Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general life philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Last Word Cheetah. I am Preston Johnson in the Bets TV studios, hosting the show. It is rainy, Qwan. Qwan's co-hosting, producing. Qwan Young, welcome. I had a flash flood warning on my way here. I was driving like 20 miles per hour. I was splashing. I couldn't see my windshield. We got here, but I usually say the studios in sunny California, in Southern California, but I can't do that today. It's been a weird one. But we got here. We don't have to travel until after not only this show where we take your calls, 661-515-BETS, talk over the bets you want to make. We track your bets. We give away cash at the end of the month. We also have Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinaire Day 5 with Paul getting the W last night in the Monday Night Football game. He's playing for $2,500 minimum today in his pocket. Chance at $25,000 if he can get two more questions right.
He's so excited. He called in.
He's first
Immediately. Like he's probably gonna sit on the line for an hour.
I was gonna say wrong hour, Paul, but I guess put him through then. We can take him now. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah. Congrats last night. Do you have any idea what the question might be for later today? Have you thought about it in advance? Been trying to strategize early?
I've done a little bit, but not really. It's been a busy day at work, and I'm actually calling early because, or right now for this show because I have a client meeting coming up here in a couple minutes. But
Got it.
I wanted to at least get a pick in. But yeah, it was certainly a sweat last night. Everybody was sweating the over under, and I was sweating receiving yards and rushing yards. It was I don't know if you were keeping up, but it was a great question, but it was quite the sweat. I was we had a couple of negative screen passes from Beckham and Kirk, and it was going back and forth, one yard the other way and 1 yard my way. It was until that last play to Kirk on fourth down. But it was quite the sweat. So
I didn't realize it came down
excited
to that last play. Qwan mentioned it to me when I came in, and it was a fourth down. So if not, I don't think either of you guys would have made it through. So well done, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, well,
Connor had a bunch of receiving yards.
That
was massive.
Yeah, well, but the tie came squarely into play though. It was very close.
That's
to a tie,
true.
So,
Okay.
Interesting. But anyway, yeah. So, but for the show, I just wanted to get a standard teaser in for the NFL this weekend. I was gonna do the Patriots up to 8.5, I believe, and then the Steelers up to 8.
Okay, let me go ahead and pull this up. I actually had my NBA screen up, so let me just flop this over. We got NFL. You wanted to go Pats up to 8.5, and then what was the second leg? Sorry.
The Steelers up to 8, I think.
Yeah, you can do that. Up to 8 on the Steelers. That works for me.
Yep.
Pretty
Now,
straightforward.
If you want to tell me what the question is going to be about, I can do some research between now and then. But
you have a meeting coming up, you said, for work, a client meeting. We can't have you researching how many threes Steph is going to make tonight in Madison Square Garden to break the record while you're listening to your clients speak. But now you know.
I see what you did there.
Okay. We'll talk to you later on, man.
I appreciate it. Yep. All right.
Okay, bye. Has to be that, though.
Has to.
He's about to break Ray Allen's record for most threes made, and he has like at least 5 to 6 years left in him, probably more. So it will be a record that it's hard to say if it will be broken or not in our lifetimes.
Think
but
he has 5 to 6 years?
At least, that's why I said at least. Like he can go stand in a corner maybe for 8 or 9 or 10.
Spot-up shooter to last at least 4 or 5 of his life. He might play until he's 45.
Imagine where you don't have to chase Steph as like the main focus of your offense, and he's the guy that just stands in the corner and shoots wide open threes. Like he'll probably have a year later in his career. His minutes are down. but he doesn't have to do much on offense. There's someone else creating where he shoots like 50% from three because he's just getting all the open looks because they have someone alongside him that just attacks the rim like LeBron style that's just getting everyone open looks. It's interesting to think about. He could definitely go longer than that. Either way, the point that he's breaking it tonight and has 5 to 10 years left probably is who gets him?
Sounds like a Charlotte go home thing. LaMelo's there.
Yeah. There you go. That would be an example. He goes back, plays in Charlotte, doesn't retire a Golden State Warrior. Or it's just he's finally like the sixth man on the Warriors at some point. I don't know. There's options. Anyway, who's up next?
Nobody right now. You know
Paul. He was just like, I'm taking over the show.
You know who else had a big night because of that that game? Carlos. Carlos is on the leaderboard.
From negative to
He went from
hope.
negative to positive, and it's all good.
You know why Qwan's happy about Carlos? Qwan, we made a bet a few months ago, $50. I gave him 10-1 for about 4 months worth. This is the last try until the end of the year that Carlos would win one of the months, and then I'd pay Qwan $500. So this is his last chance. But the 2 TDs from Connor plus 550 puts him positive and in third, the current leaderboard. So Carlos moving up the ranks. Well done. Congrats. Are there any actual – I'm looking at this Warriors-Knicks game now. Player threes. All right, so Steph Curry's number's 5.5. That's what it usually is. Holy cow. He has to make 3 to break the record?
I think it's 2.
Just 2?
Yeah.
Hold on.
He was 1 behind, and he missed a 3 to tie.
He needs 2 3-pointers versus Knicks. Thank you. So he hit one. I know the game was pretty close. So he played. I missed one of the threes he made during that game last night. You hear about their travel?
Yeah.
Yeah, they couldn't actually leave till the next morning, and the NBA doesn't usually let you even play games this same day or day of.
Everything's going down in between.
But they can't not play this game. So
in the Garden too.
So many people have bet this. What do you think the true odds are of Steph not making 2 threes?
Plus,
not even like, just give me a percentage. Like, what percentage of the time do you think he makes 0 or 1?
3%.
Yeah. That's actually probably about right. Maybe it's a little higher. But in order to bet that he does break the record, it's minus 20,000. It's basically you're laying that's like 0.5% or something. Yeah, it would be exactly 0.5%. So you're paying such a premium.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But people are probably betting it, or they're tying it into all their parlays just because. And then to make 3 is minus 2,400.
We got OG Johns ready.
Imagine betting 20,000 on Steph to make 2 or more. Oh my gosh, it just moved. Now it's minus 8,000. There's probably value on somebody else in this list because Steph was. No, but you can't bet that. I'm a little bit confused, but Vandal just moved. Regardless, who's up?
We got OG John.
OG John. Okay, John, welcome to the show. How are you doing today, man?
Good. How are you doing? Funny you mentioning big odds. There was someone talking about, I guess someone made a huge bet on the Bucks to win the division, and they were wondering if it was just a money laundering deal or, but I think people actually do it. I think the guy bet like $70,000 to win 700. I've seen. It's strange to me. I don't think it's ever worth it.
I never get the money laundering thing, to be completely honest. But I've done similar stuff, and I don't launder money. So maybe it's happened, but
Right.
You're going to get money anyways, and you're going to have to report it. But I guess you're fine with that if you're getting rid of dirty money. So, I guess I get it to some degree. But there's a time, if you guys remember, those longtime followers of mine, Lamar Jackson was basically a lock to win the Heisman. And someone had a ticket on him, $100 paid. It was 100 to 1, so it paid over 10,000. The payout was 10,100 on the ticket, and they used the prop swap site to sell it. For some reason, like a week before the ceremony, even though he was like essentially a lock, we bartered a deal for like, I bought it for 8,000. So it was like a free $2,000 for me. I laid, like minus 400 basically that Lamar would win, and he just wanted to, I guess, make sure he locked in profit. But yeah, I don't usually lay like huge money lines like that, but sometimes it is like free money, so to speak. So that was one of the times I've done a little bit something funky. Nothing like a season-long bet where you're laying 70,000 to win 700. That's and you gotta just wait on your money anyway. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think
anyways,
you bet it this week. You bet it this week, I guess. The Bucks to win. I guess there was still odds up them for them to win a division, which seems like a straight up steal on really money, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah. You could be right. All right, what do you got for us today for your bet?
I'm going to go to the hockey. Big slate today, and I'm looking at playing the Rangers against the Red Hot Avalanche, which just really a value play here. I think you're really buying the Rangers low and the Avalanche at their all-time high. But for the contest, I think I'll go reverse puck line.
Okay.
So I'm going to lay 1.5 for the Rangers.
What price are you looking at for that? I probably have to pull up my app.
I thought I saw a 390 at DraftKings. That's still there.
Okay, I'll double check that one. But
yeah. Hey, quick question. You talk about podcasts. Is there any podcast out there for all the bowl games? Like someone that's gone through every game and broke it down? Because I do a lot of contests and I don't follow all the leagues, so it's hard for me to pick some of these games.
We have Colin Wilson on pretty regularly, and I know he does something with Stuckey once or twice a week for college football. I'm not sure if they've done like a full-on bowl pod, though.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go as they go.
Yeah, you have to lock.
You have to lock in everything before the first game Friday?
Yes. I think it's 17th, so is that Friday?
Yeah, the Toledo game. You actually, that's Friday. By the way, it is still plus 390 on the Rangers, so we'll confirm that price.
Okay, plus 390? Great.
Yep.
All right, thanks for that, and have a good day.
No problem. Good luck tonight. See you later.
All right, thanks. Bye.
You hear that car alarm out there?
Yeah.
I don't think the streamers can hear it, but that must be like the loudest car alarm in history because we're up in the sky, a few floors up, and it's like way over there. I've never heard a car alarm that loud, I don't think. It's actually kind of tilting me. There we go. Went off. Thank you. Whoever it was.
Real quick, Bob Loblaw, who's only 0.22 units behind Carlos, wants the Pens on the puck line, minus 118 at FanDuel. And Nick can't call in today, but he wants Notre Dame minus 2 against OSU.
He can have minus 113 on the Pens. Notre Dame minus 2. I know someone else that bet that. Let me just double check. He probably knows what the best number was. What was that?
Somebody else bet it on this show a few days.
I think Rufus likes Notre Dame, but I only skimmed his.
Paul bet it.
His numbers once, and it's been over a week. I don't want to say for sure, but yeah, there's plenty of minus 2, so that's good. And there's the car alarm. Who's up next?
We got Hayden in Dallas.
Hey, Hayden, welcome back to the show, man. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Not too bad. I was perusing the EPL slate today. There's some midweek games, and results are doing pretty favorable for Watford, which is not bad.
Hold on a second. I got to pull this up because there's some news coming out on Thursday. That's all I can say.
Nice. Oh, so I'm like segueing almost,
be on the
right?
lookout, but it's probably like the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. So, yeah. Just leave it at that. Can't say anything else. You'll find out Thursday, so everyone can be excited for me. I'm pulling up the scores now. You want to go back to more English soccer then?
Yeah, I am. I'm just going to hit Watford on the money line tomorrow.
That will work. Let me just see if I can get a screen for the best price possible. What do you see
I
in
think
front
it
of
should
you?
be like 265. I think I saw 265.
I can give you that. That works. 265 Watford money line. That's like regulation and everything, I assume, right?
Right. So yeah, tie. It's an L.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just a little context. They're playing Burnley tomorrow, and it's basically a must-win for both teams. They're both like in the relegation battle. It's Watford's back-to-back roadie, even though Watford's like super close to Brentford, so it's not really back-to-back. You know what I'm saying? With travel and stuff. I mean, Watford was just like clearly the better team against Brentford, except for that like last 10 minutes. And Burnley sucks. I don't like to do like I usually like the expected goals, yada yada, but Burnley just blows. They're like known for like basically playing super defensive. They don't really have anyone who's like too creative. They struggle with scoring, which is the complete opposite of Watford. So like, I mean, Watford's defense is really bad. So I mean, but Brentford can't put the ball in the net. So I think we have an advantage there. And obviously Watford's one of like the pretty high scoring teams. So I'll take it.
Interesting. Burnley is, it looks like, in the relegation trio down at the bottom of the cap table. And then Watford right above there. That is high-pressure game for two teams that are just like playing for their lives. It's kind of an interesting sweat you just don't get in American sports where you are reverse, like anti-sweating being so bad and going to a whole other league where your revenue streams go down 5 to 10x until you can get back to the Premier League. So it's like so high stakes.
Yeah.
There's just something beautiful about that.
Yeah, I've had the conversation a lot with a bunch of like my friends here in the U.S. because like they're all friends of like the best teams, but like you already kind of know what the best teams are doing. It's a lot more fun rooting for like these lower table teams because like every game matters. Unlike, I don't know, let's say you're like just a mid-table team, your season like doesn't matter in like basically a month. So
totally,
so it's always fun. Yep.
Cool, man. Good luck tonight and tomorrow. We'll talk to you later on.
Alrighty, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah, it's distracting now. Now that you pointed it out.
Well, then there was like a double one going during that call.
Somebody's car is getting stolen. If you working next to the Irvine Spectrum Center, your car is getting stolen. We got Carlos is up. Carlos, this is your time. I'm not going to give you a motivational speech or anything like that. Let's get it. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Qwan. I appreciate the encouragement there, my friend. Let's see what we're going to do. I also want to say good luck to Paul. I need him to come join me on this Who Wants to Be a Betting Extraordinary podium. I wish him all the best, and I want him to come and be with me, and also exceed me as well. I want him to win the whole kit and caboodle.
That would be pretty fun, right, for the holidays. I kept telling Qwan I felt like it was going to happen. It's like Christmas time. I was making the weird voices yesterday. You were laughing at me. I was like, I think it's going to happen. Carlos, by the way, congrats on your hit last night, though. You're in the mix.
Yeah, man. It was good. It felt good. It felt good. I was been so close. But yeah, it felt
Would
good
you
to get one,
say that you were actually due, in fact?
Don't do that. It's gonna
It already hit.
Double jinx it though.
Well, that's my only hope of not losing $500 to you anyway. So what are you looking at tonight?
Well, it's funny you say that because I want to take Yale tonight, money line. You know why?
You do.
Monmouth is undefeated, I think. ATS, I think. They're undefeated ATS. They have a really good ATS record. I'm not going to say it, Qwan, I promise you, but
Carlos, just say it.
I'm going to take Yale. Well, Monmouth is due to lose.
Yeah,
ATS.
there you go.
So
there it is. There is a pick. It's a Yale pick, so all they got to do is win.
Yep, money line. I don't know if there's any plus juice with that, but I doubt it.
Nope, they're either -1 or pick now everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the money line.
I have no thoughts on the game, to be completely honest. The totals moved up quite a bit. Monmouth was -1, now they're +1 most spots. So maybe you're right. Stepping in front of the Monmouth freight train could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I found out someone I know yesterday went to Yale, so I guess maybe that's a sign.
I want to know what's up with the Ivy League handicapping from Carlos. Did you go to an Ivy League school?
I did not.
That was
on
one
turf,
of the locks of the year.
But there you go. Yeah. So we're gonna go. Yeah, Quan, let's come on, man. We gotta have faith, man. We're gonna get this.
We will lock it in. Good luck, Carlos.
Of course. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
All right.
The Cornell bet was a question mark. That's a triple question mark for me.
Yeah. I just don't. Look, Carlos knows I love him, but I just don't see the. Look, got to bet the over in the All-Star game because the balls were flying out in the home run derby being Ivy League material. That's all, Carlos.
There's some questionable calls.
Ivy League breakdown. Home run derby balls were flying out. All-Star game. Over.
Listen, they know trigonometry and geometry at Yale. We got Hunter B.
Hunter, how's it going, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Preston. How are y'all doing today?
We are doing well, thank you. What are you looking at for yourself today?
I'm going to lay it with the Vikings on, I guess, Monday. Big COVID week in the NFL this week.
It is.
The Bears announced a few guys on the COVID list, I don't know, about 20 or 30 minutes ago. I'm anticipating that could get worse throughout the week for the Bears. So this is just a straight COVID play for me. Both of these teams suck, and I hate both of them. But, yeah.
Minnesota's a hard team to bet on this year because they've outperformed so many of their losses. They've won some close games too. It's tough to bet their games. But yeah, if this ends up being 10 guys out for the Bears,
I don't know how
or
you
something,
bet anything. Yeah, this week I'm not sure how you bet anything but COVID news. The numbers in the NFL are just meaningless to me this week.
I had a convo about that with someone last night, and I said I was not firing anything NFL related myself or giving anything NFL related out until later in the week. Even though generally you want to bet earlier to get better numbers before the market moves, there's just too many moving parts and variables with a lot of the teams. So I am with you there. But we'll give you the 3.5.
Maybe we'll get some. Maybe we'll get some Tuesday afternoon football the next couple of weeks.
That would actually be kind of nice. Throwing a little NFL on Tuesday or Wednesday or something. Yeah, why not?
All right, guys. Thanks.
Take care. Thanks for calling. Yep.
That was really the only fun part about last season. Right, we got sports every day at all times of the day.
Yeah. It was I remember everyone making fun of something about the Tuesday. Was it just like the quality wasn't as good, or maybe I don't know how. I just remember people complaining, and I don't know why they were complaining, because reality is we got sports in the NFL more often, so, or just any sport really was just spaced across. I don't know. In my head, I just remember everyone on Twitter complaining, so I'm misremembering. Maybe.
Really? You remember everybody?
People on Twitter complaining. Believe that or not. Anyone else on the line?
Yeah, we got Evans up.
Hey, Evan, welcome back to the show, man. How are you doing?
Doing well, Preston. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you. What are you looking at for your bet today?
I'm going to take Kevin Durant to record a triple-double tonight at 12-1.
Interesting. What's your angle here?
Toronto's down a couple people in the power forward position. I think Kevin Durant's in this groove right now. And so they might not let him try to score 50, so he'll get some assists. He'll get those rebounds. Just need to take a dart to try to get back on the leaderboard.
Right on. 12-1 is the price, I believe, at FanDuel. So that'll do. We'll lock it in.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Take care. Who do they? Excuse me. What is the line for that game? You don't know. I'm just pulling it up. For some reason, I cannot remember. I looked at everything this morning. Brooklyn's home. All right, I'm reloading my NBA screen. It's 5. He said Toronto's out, people.
Yeah.
Yet today the lines moved from 8 to 5. Is Harden out? Must be James Harden news. Right? It's got to be. I love doing this live in real time. But I may have missed during my flash flood warning, have to drive up to the studio. Patty Mills, DeAndre Bembry, Kevin Durant, James Johnson, and Aldridge will start Sunday's game. So Harden will not suit up. It appears. So, and Johnson, James Johnson, at the beginning of the start for him. Okay, well, there you go. That's why the line, despite Toronto being out, guys, too, has dropped 3 to 3.5 points on the Toronto side. That also gives Durant plenty of the usage. So, did he say that in his call that Durant? I don't know. If he did mention Harden was out, I missed it on the call, but that's not bad at 12-1 to get KD doing everything game against backups and defenders for Toronto that are not as elite. So
I watched that. What game was it? Against the Hawks on Friday, I think it was. And man, I don't know. Like, do you think he regrets that decision of leaving Golden State for Brooklyn? Because it's like watching James Harden play basketball now is disgusting because it's just like he gives no effort at times.
I mean, you've seen the video, especially when he was on the Rockets, the videos of he just defense does not move off ball
at all.
And defense, he doesn't try. And it's like, oh, well, he has to do so much for the Rockets. He's always handling the ball. It's like, okay, but when you pass to Chris Paul, maybe don't stand 40 feet over here and not move because it makes it so much easier for the defense. That's where Steph's value is just higher.
Yeah.
Is his constant movement and just making defensive react. And then Golden State capitalizes on cuts or this or that or gets an offensive rebound. When you can just Harden's like taking a breath 40 feet away.
He'd be in the zone. Like he's looking at stuff or he's daydreaming. It's that's also a good point. What Kelly Oubre said about playing on a different team, and how he feels like he's doing better in the system that he's in is because they're running plays for Steph, and you can never get in a rhythm or a groove. And I know it's Kelly Oubre saying it, but it kind of makes sense. Like,
I mean, Clay gets in a groove fine his whole life.
Yeah.
He's like so much in a groove that he's the second best shooter of all time.
Yeah.
So I don't know about that. I actually just think Kelly Oubre had one of the most fascinating sample sizes of three-point shooting in the history of basketball. It was just like the weirdest variance you've ever seen. Guy could not make a three to start the season last year. Was it just last year? I think it was just last season. And obviously he was a better shooter than before that from three. He was a better shooter since from three. It just was up near 40 attempts without a make for a guy that's career, I don't know. Let's look now. I'm guessing 36.7%, something like that. I don't really deep dive Kelly Oubre three-point shooting percentages very often. Okay, he's 39 this year, career 33.5. But he had one of it's really hard for a guy who makes more than 1 out of 3 every time he shoots a three. Like to miss 40 straight, might have been over 40. It's like one of the more unlikely events in the history of shooting a basketball. That's all I think that happened. But he can pretend that I can't get in a rhythm even though I'm wide open because Steph's the one getting all the attention. It makes no sense, actually. Lost respect for Kelly with his hot take there. Kind of just sounds like an excuse. But I would rather prefer the player be like, you know what? The chances of me missing 44 straight threes to start the season last year were about 1 in 7 trillion, 500 billion, and 32. And then I'd be like, holy cow, you're right. Isn't that crazy? And then just move on. But instead he's like, oh, it's hard to play with Steph.
No, man, you
Can't shoot threes when you're wide open because you can't get in a rhythm
always got to blame somebody else for your problems.
like you
Never.
do when you're pitching in your kickball games.
Listen, it's 100% their fault. We got smoked again this week. Well, actually, we gave up 6 in the first 2, and then we had 5.
Were you pitching?
Yeah,
Someone else?
I'm always pitching. Listen, that team is a
Did
little.
the shortstop no-show? He quit
Yeah,
the
he
week
quit.
before. Okay,
He
so he's
quit.
really out.
He
All right.
really.
That's rough.
We gave up 5 scoreless, or we had 5 scoreless innings after we gave up 6. So we're getting better.
Yeah, if you look at the last 5 innings you've played, you guys are one of the best teams in the
We're
league.
getting better. That's all you can do for a team that's just getting together. It's not fun. I was out there stressed out. I pulled my hamstring again, but I fought through it.
See, here's the excuses.
No, it's not an excuse. I played
It's
all
always
7.
the hammy.
It's
Would you
always-
play in this weather if you had to? Or do they rain out games?
It was just cold. It probably rains out. I would not play in this.
We got anyone on the line, or are we good?
Nobody on the line.
All right.
We got some,
661-515-BETS is the phone line. We'll open it up for any of those. It's the one you get to call in. We can hit the chat bets, though, if you got some.
We got Mike in New York. He wants Steph Curry to record a double-double, plus 550 on DraftKings.
How's he going to get to 10 assists when he's not going to be passing the first half? I actually think, he'll get to it tonight. So I had here's an interesting take. Were you watching that Sixers game at all when Golden State was playing the Sixers?
No.
So Golden State was up 13 or 15 with 2 to 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Steph went out. Sixers went on an 11-0 run, cut it to, I think, 2. So a 13 or 11-0 run. And then going into the fourth quarter, they brought Steph back in. Philadelphia just put Matisse Thybulle on him the entire fourth. And it was interesting, and he was also guarding him some in the first half, and Steph just didn't have a good shooting game. But I heard Rajah Bell talking about everyone on these podcasts and analytics people are like, oh, Matisse Thybulle. Like he's like the one guy. Steph only made 1 3 and couldn't even get threes up. Like he wasn't even getting them off, and it was like, Thybulle, man, if he ever learns how to shoot, watch out. He might be the best defender of our time. And Rajah Bell, who's one of the better one-on-one 3-and-D guys before 3-and-D was a thing. He was on a pod recently, maybe this morning or last night when it dropped on the Ringer. But he's like, you know how easy it is to guard someone when you know they're shooting a 3? He's like, Thybulle was not worried about Steph driving by him because why would Steph drive by him to shoot a 2? He's trying to break the record.
Yeah.
He's like, look, Matisse is a great defender. He set records at Washington in blocks and steals and combined, etc. But if all you're doing is taking away a Steph 3 and Steph's not willing to try to drive by you, then it's a lot easier to guard Steph. So I thought that was an interesting point. So my counter then, was tonight he only needs 2 anyway. If New York's playing a similar style where Steph's going to try to hurry and get the record, Steph should just be blowing by, getting layups and assists over and over and over. He's going to eventually fall into 2 threes. I think they have a chance to kind of play the first quarter different than New York's going to anticipate.
Yeah.
Rather than Steph hurrying, chucking a few short form 28, 30 footers, hoping he can hurry and get there and get it behind him. Just go play. I don't know. Anyway, Engel was maybe you play Golden State early if they're smart enough to take advantage, but they also might not. And then the Knicks, it favors them because they're playing a defense that's conducive to just defend the 3. Maybe you play Steph assists over, which is now where the double-double comes in because Steph is I only need 2 threes. I'm going to come out and fake everyone out and I'll have 6 assists at the end of the first quarter because they're all playing up. Anyways.
That's kind of what happened in the end of the Pacers game. I think they were down 5. He hit that 3, and then he drove the lane, and I think Kevon Looney got that putback. But, playing him on the 3, we know he's shooting the 3. Those drives are there.
They should be. Yeah, for sure. Now, we'll see if he does anything in the first quarter. But the first screen he comes off and he's catching a pass and he starts shooting, one pump and he's just going to walk in for a layup. He should at least do it once to just laugh at everyone. All right, who's up?
the NBA might murder him if he doesn't get that record tonight. We got Patrick.
Patrick, what's up, man? Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Preston, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to take another advantage teaser. There's a lot of good options this week. Let's go with the Dolphins and the Bengals. I don't quite get the line movement in this Bengals-Broncos game. It moved about 4 points from the look ahead, and I'm not quite sure why. I mean, the Broncos beat up on a decimated Lions team, and granted the Bengals didn't play well against the 49ers, but I don't think it should have moved that much. And I see no way the Broncos can win by margin in this game. So teasing the Bengals over the 7.5, I think that's a good move. And teasing the Dolphins down under a field goal against the Jets. I mean, the Jets are the Jets are the Jets. It's real bad on both sides of the ball too. And you know what? Zach Wilson hasn't been great, but his supporting staff has been horrible. I mean, there's been drops from his receivers, his running backs, receivers running the wrong routes. Defense has been horrible. Special teams has been bad. So I mean, I think some of that has to go back on coaching too. So
I heard,
it's just a whole shit show for that organization.
So in a similar vibe, and we'll lock you in for the teaser, classic advantage teaser, especially a few of the spots have gone to 9 on Miami, so grab the 8.5 down before it goes to 9.
Yeah, I think it's moving. Yeah.
So Trevor Lawrence is in a similar kind of boat, right? Like Urban Meyer's like a mess, and I think Lawrence threw 3 or 4 picks this last weekend.
Oh, he was bad. Yeah.
And it was funny because before last week, Dilfer was on Rusilla's podcast, if I recall correctly, talking about how there's something, whether you want to call it mentally or just evolving as a young quarterback in the league, but he's like, you basically got 2 seasons. And if you don't make that leap from year 1 to year 2 or are just good right away in year 1, how often do you see QBs breaking out year 3 or later? Outside of like Josh Allen, he's like, I don't know of one in the last 20-something years. And he's worried now because the situations for Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are just so bad. How do these guys come back from that? Even if they're technically, if they got drafted and gone elsewhere, maybe they would have been good quarterbacks. And he's like, it's weird and it's hard to quantify. Trent takes, like, he's pretty smart as far as analytics and stuff. He's like, you can't quantify the difference between a QB going to a bad spot for their first 2 years. He's like, probably not for Lawrence or Wilson, but the Josh Rosen type, like, you just aren't good and then you're out of the league, is way more frequent than you would think for these guys that just don't have a good situation or setup those first few years. So it's kind of scary because I'm a BYU fan, want to root for Zach Wilson. Lawrence is hyped like he's the next, best prospects. It's Andrew Luck. It's what everyone said. Just has not looked at all. And I hope that they find ways to just get better coaches in those organizations or ways where they can actually get talent around him. It's just brutal.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is environment. Look at Mac Jones. He went into the perfect situation. Yeah. Hopefully, like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson are mentally strong enough to pull through this. Because, if you go back to, say, Peyton Manning had a horrible first year. But,
yeah, that's true.
Obviously he rebounded from that. So, I think he was in a better situation. He had better coaching anyway. So, yeah, hopefully these guys can pull through. So,
good luck this weekend, Patrick. We will talk to you later on.
All right, see ya.
Take care. Zach Wilson's QBR is dead last in the NFL. It's 24. Trevor Lawrence is at 32. You know who the only people worse than Lawrence are before you get to Wilson?
Is it Goff?
That is one of them. The other two are like Justin Fields, young, hasn't been very good. And then Davis Mills for Houston hasn't been very good. But Goff, I wouldn't have thought was that bad. But it's been that bad. Which then, again, goes to my point yesterday when you were like, is the narrative that Sean McVay everyone was wrong about him? It's like, because he got to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff, everyone's wrong about Sean McVay. Like, I think the guy already won. And now everyone's kind of copying what he brought to the table a few years ago in the NFL. So, yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that Goff was sub Trevor Lawrence level QBR right now. Let me look at EPA.
I think that's a lot. Man, it's hard.
Oh, my old. Zach Wilson's EP is so 7.
But it's, man.
His is 7. Herbert's is 93.4. Dude, that's got to be the biggest gap in a long time. I'm going to go back into go ahead. I'm going to go back into previous seasons and see
I would really love to contribute a lot of those issues to just like Patrick said, the environment. Like Trevor Lawrence, that's probably one of the worst situations a rookie quarterback could be in, along with Justin Fields. Uh, as far as Zach Wilson, I think it's a learning curve for LaFleur and him being together. Like the more time they get together, it'll be better. But Lawrence is in hell right now. Justin Fields, they're gonna have a new probably GM, new coach next year. So
I guess that's part of the thing is
yeah.
Dilfer's point was to like revamp an organization, coach, how it's managed, getting players around the quarterbacks takes more than like one more year.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't recognize how many times the quarterback just has to make the leap in year 2 or they never do. And so that's what's scary.
And speaking of Jared Goff, I think if you go from Jeff Fisher to Sean McVay, that's a pretty good point to how the environment can change because
if you can land someone like that, then it definitely.
Like there has to be a shift in the NFL from the coaches that they hire not being, I guess, revolutionary. Like they have to stop hiring these culture. Like I hate the Dan Campbell hire because he's a culture guy. I don't see him talking about football at an elite or like a genius type level or something that changes the game. It's just smash mouth football. Let's run the ball between the tackles. Let's do things that have been done before. When you get Sean McVay, he's running the back or receivers out the backfield. He's pre-snap motions, things that'll help your quarterback out. Like those are the guys that are going to push the game forward instead of the same guys that we're getting just doing the same thing.
Just trying the same conventional, traditional stuff. By the way, last 10 seasons, only one QB has had a QBR close to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's is the worst at 7.4 the last 10 years. I mentioned him. Josh Rosen at Arizona was 7.9. And then there's some going back to 2012. Matt Castle at KC, but I don't know if he really qualified. I'm not sure how many games he played. His EPA was 2.4. And Chad Henne, Jacksonville, that year 4.3, and Mark Sanchez, the Jets, 5.4. So that year, atrocious quarterback play apparently. But of the last decade, Wilson's the worst EPA since 2012. Anyway, we have a caller on the line.
Yeah, we got Jim in Philly.
Jim, welcome back to the show, man. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Looking at this NFL slate, even though COVID's ravaging the league, so these lines are flying all over the place. I'm going to take Baltimore, the best number on the Ravens against the Packers.
All right, 1 second. For some reason, I don't see it. Okay. You want money line or you want the points?
No, I'll take the points.
+5.
It's kind of like that middle. +5, okay. There's no 5.5s?
Mostly 4.5 now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a middle of the road number, I'm assuming, on, it's going to react one way or the other on Lamar. But with Lamar playing, I actually have Baltimore favored. So, if he does play, I'd like to get as many points as I can since I can count on John Harbaugh to be analytically savvy and go for 2 when he's supposed to. And I'd rather take every point that I can get. So
Sure. I will say, I don't know if Lamar is going to go or not, but is this just, I don't know. I can't make a decision on this yet, but Huntley looked fine. They run a similar offense with him anyway. The worry would be more on the defensive side, but also were the Browns just playing prevent defense the whole second half? I don't know. I'd have to dig in more there, but Huntley looked okay. So it's not like the end of the world if you're getting 5 at home with him. Yeah, I don't hate it, but yeah, no more 5.5s. So we'll give you the +5.
all right, sounds good.
Take care.
We got Evan in the chat. He wants to change his bet because he says that KD is questionable. And
Probably looked because I was looking at the line.
Yeah. He wants to go Wolves money line in the EPL at +242.
Okay, we can switch it. Now you know Durant's going to play for sure and have a triple-double, though.
That's how it goes. We got Ty's up.
Ty, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. What do you got for us today?
Any thoughts on Curry to break the record in the first quarter? It's minus 110 on DK.
You probably weren't listening to the show earlier.
No, I mean, he may have missed it, but I never really talked directly about that line. They have crazy lines on him to make at least two. It was like minus 20,000 at FanDuel. First quarter seems about right. If you break down his 5.5 into 4 quarters where he doesn't play as many minutes. This is what's interesting. Until this year, he always played the entirety of the first and third quarters. But more recently, Steph's been sitting mid-first and mid-third and not playing as many minutes in the first and third. I don't know if that line's taking it into account, but if you broke down the minutes, the line, like every game for Steph, is 5.5 made threes and broke it down. But then maybe you want to account for the fact that he comes out chucking. Or maybe they leave him in until he gets it, especially if he makes one early. Then Kerr probably won't pull him 2.5 minutes later, right? So I don't know. There's a lot of variables there that I couldn't really tell you the right answer. But one thing I would just probably, if you made me bet, I'd bet no, because frequently going out 6 to 7 minutes into the first, which he didn't do for years until this season. So just something to note.
Thanks. All right, that's good information. Can I take let's go under on the Raiders Browns.
We can do that. Let me see the best numbers, probably 40.5. Yeah, 40.5. It's moved down quite a bit. Everyone was betting the Raiders anyway yesterday. What's your angle then on under? Just put people out.
Yeah, and there could be more stuff coming out. So I thought about the all under, but it's come down a bit. So I'll just take 40.5, and there could be more information coming out, and that could only help me, I would think.
All righty. We will lock it in, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep. Talk to you later. I forget who called earlier and said it's tough to really fire on anything in the NFL at this point because there's so much COVID running rampant in the league. Excuse me. It also can affect defenses, although when you have like a quarterback out, it's usually a bigger deal than if you have a linebacker out, right? So in general, I wonder if, for example, like going through the only game on Sunday that has moved up as far as the total is concerned is Atlanta-San Francisco. Everyone else has moved under. So I wonder if you like round robin the Sunday unders or something would be. Someone probably did it earlier when the lines were taller.
Last night, probably a pretty good example of that too. You got to do more vanilla coverages, and they like Kyler should have hit a couple of those plays, but that's pretty good defense when you lose your star cornerback. We got Jamie in Atlanta's up.
What's up, Jamie? Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Phone lines were blocking me out yesterday. I think the minions were back at it, or Qwan was blocking my calls.
Absolutely blocked your call.
Probably the latter.
Yeah.
Qwan, congrats on winning on the chalkiest day of NFL ever. You couldn't win that day.
He finally, imagine being down 32x going into a Sunday, and somehow this guy gets out of it.
The Christmas season.
That's the worst thing that could happen to him, because now he's going to do it again.
No, never again.
And then
I was telling him yesterday, you go back to 25 to like 35 or 40 maybe, but
that's it.
You don't fire $200 bets anymore.
Fool me,
live.
you can't get fooled again. George W. Bush.
Live betting is so easy. Qwan on Monday. Yeah. Qwan on Wednesday. Never lost this much money in my life.
Please help.
Sorry, Jamie. What's up, man? What are you looking at today?
He got his max spec set at 250.
200.
Oh, they lowered you.
This guy's too sharp.
You're too sharp.
Limit his
He's down
account.
too much. Lower the limits. All right, let's go college basketball for tomorrow. Looking Belmont over. I think actually bookmaker just opened their line 138. I bet 138.5. But
Where did that game close? Or what was the game that you bet yesterday that was 9.5?
It's
today?
at 10 now. It didn't move a ton.
Okay.
But it moved a little bit. Actually, I think there's still some 9.5s available. I haven't been tracking it. Yeah, I bet DePaul yesterday.
Yep, got it. It can give you 138 on Chattanooga Belmont.
All right, cool. Yeah, it looks like DePaul got up to 11. People bet it back down to 9.5. Go figure.
Oh, you're screwed.
I still make DePaul double digits, and then yeah, this one I've got it up 142 or so. So
okay,
go over 138. They both play pretty quick and pretty efficient on offense. So I think should have been at least 140.
Sounds good. We'll lock it in. Chattanooga Belmont over 138. That is for tomorrow. Great, man. Appreciate the call. Good luck tonight.
Okay. Yep. See you guys.
See ya.
We got a question in the chat from what I believe is a new participant.
Okay.
He says he has Steph over 4.5 threes, Qwan under 7 boards, Fred over 4.5 boards, Pascal over 7.5
Fred?
boards. I'm thinking Van Fleet.
Oh, okay. FVV.
Yeah. Pascal over 7.5 boards, and Scotty Barnes over fantasy points running on Prize Picks. What do you think?
That's a lot of prop bets. I don't run my own. I can pull up a couple sites that are somewhat trusted and see where they're at. He had to have laid juice. Steph was over 4.5 threes. He would have had to have laid juice because the 5.5 is like minus 110 each way. 4.5, he probably had to lay like minus 175 or something like that. So theoretically, Steph's going to try to get the record, but he only needs 2 for the record. I don't know if he's going to be taking 17 threes like he has the last few games on average. Okay, I got not mine, but some projections up that are usually decent. What was the next one?
It was
Looney on rebounds.
Looney under 7 boards, Van Vliet over 4.5 boards.
Looney under 7, maybe a slight edge there, depending on what his price is. Again, if he's laying minus 125, it isn't. But if you're getting plus money, then it definitely is. What's the next one?
Pascal Siakam over.
Isn't he out? Or someone was saying that a lot of their forwards are out. Maybe he's not. It was over 7.5?
Yep.
That's decent, especially if the other forwards are at.
Van Vliet over 4.5. Says it was a Taco Tuesday special discount for Steph.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So now everyone's rooting for him. That makes sense. Over 4.5 on Fred, not bad. Especially again if Toronto's out some bigger bodies. I don't hate it.
And then Scotty Barnes over fantasy points.
I don't know exactly what the line is for that, but this projection I'm looking at here is at 32.6. So if you're playing the injuries a little bit, maybe it should be a little higher depending on how they're taking into account all of that. But, yep, there you go. But I don't have my own personal prop projections for NBA players.
That was from Colby Gutta. One of them. I don't know. 33.
So you know what we're going to do for this day 5 $2,500 question for Paul?
Is it Curry?
I already even gave him that hint. So I don't know if he's still listening. He can have a few minutes to think about it.
Hit it accurate.
It's going to be the minute segment of like within the first or second quarter that he actually gets it. And if he gets it like in the second half, Paul's just drawn dead because that's not going to be an option. Maybe I got to have some outs my way because I make it more of an underdog when it gets to day 5. So So yeah, I'll get the exact minutes with Qwan, but it's going to be like is he going to get it in the first
2 minutes?
4 minutes.
Yeah.
The rest of the first quarter. Maybe I'll go first 4.5, and then like 6.5, 7.5 would be the answer because he usually sits some of that. And then like a first part of the second quarter. It's interesting. You got to think about it because it's all going to depend on the rotation, which has been a little bit funky this year. Unless he's just trying to get Steph the record and he has him firing in the first quarter. So then if that's the case, maybe I got to do like 3-minute increments. I don't know. I got to think it through, but that's what the question is.
That's a fun question.
So you're sweating literally like the ticker is going to be going, and you're like, you don't want him to score too quickly if you don't choose early. Yeah. Anyway, we'll work out what looks about fair where
Paul
makes it
tough.
tough.
Meeting sweating.
Yeah.
We got Brian as the last caller.
Oh, beautiful. Brian, welcome to the show, man. How are you doing today?
Hey, Preston. Doing great. How you doing?
Likewise. Doing well, man. What are you looking at for today to lock in?
I'm going to get some early Patriots action in terms of a teaser and tease them up and tease Miami down. I'm not sure if I could do 8.5 both ways. I'm not sure if there was a book for that, but yeah.
There's not many at 2.5 for the Pats, so let me check. Yep, you can do it.
Okay, yeah.
I just looked. You're good.
Okay.
Up to 8.5 on New England,
Awesome.
Down to 2.5 on the Miami side.
Awesome. I love it.
All right, and you'll be betting New England again on the money line later in the week.
I'm likely going to be betting them for the rest of the week, whether it's first touchdown one day, money line one day, and just
so you're all in on the
Patriots
Saturday
week.
game. I love it.
All in, yes.
Nice.
Love it.
Okay. Cool. We will talk
right.
to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Preston.
See ya. He could just tease New England every day with all the other teaser options and maybe one money line on Friday. But if he has the first touchdown too, then there you go. All right. Ready to wrap it up? It should be, yeah. Saturday night in Indy.
Barring any COVID collapses.
I really hope that doesn't come up. I'm sure Belichick has the cure or something anyways, but if that actually ruined this run for the New England Patriots, like I kind of really just want to see if they can take this into the playoffs and if they're going to actually be like a legitimate contender, because I still don't really believe, but it's something like, COVID, like over the course of 2 to 3 weeks, funnels through half the team and they just never get right again. It'll always be a what if. Like Mac Jones could have been the greatest quarterback in history. Jim could have been right about him being a top 5 QB right now. And maybe we never know. So let's hope he has the cure.
If there's anybody that has the cure for COVID, it's Bill Belichick.
Any coach in the history of at least the NFL, I think he would be on the top of my list. Or if there's a player, it's Tom Brady. So and he probably shared it. So either way, he's in good shape.
1A and 1B.
Day 5 of Who Wants to Be Betting Extraordinaire. Start the music now, the extraordinaire music. Let's just get it rolling. But we'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to set up the question for Paul. He's got $2,500 on the line tonight in the Steph Curry Madison Square Garden 3-point game, trying to break Ray Allen's all-time record. And he'll be 2 questions from $25K. So we'll be back with that tomorrow. Hopefully back. Qwan knows my 5-year-old has been sick, trying to figure out how to handle life at home without him. It's not 100% we're going to have a Last Word Cheetah show tomorrow. I'm just going to leave it at that. I got some help today from my parents, but I'll let you guys know tonight. I'll let Qwan know. But if we're not back tomorrow, we'll be back Thursday for sure. And we'll catch you in a few minutes. Paul, call in as soon as you're ready.